Hello, welcome to the Mark Janard Show, the cybersecurity show. So, Anonymous has more beef with Donald Trump. He's saying that the ceasefire was false. In this video, I'm going to break down this new development. I'm going to talk about who Anonymous is, a little bit of context between Anonymous versus Donald Trump, and then I'm going to get into the story. But before I do that, hit that subscribe button and the like button. I appreciate you. So Anonymous is a decentralized international collective of activists and hacktivists, right? So activists and hack, best known for their, orchestrating high-profile cyber attacks against governments, corporations, basically organizations they view as corrupt or oppressive. So the group is not a traditional organization, but they're loosely connected, right? There's not really a central leadership or formal membership structure. Anyone can claim affiliation to Anonymous, and actions are typically proposed and coordinated in online forums or chat rooms, with participation varying based on interest and technical ability. Okay, so Anonymous originated around 2003, reportedly on the image board 4chan, where users posted without revealing their identities. The group's name and culture stem from this basically anonymity, right? So fostering a sense of collective identity and shared purpose. So the guy, Fox Mask, popularized by the graphic novel and film V for Vendetta, has become the group's emblem, symbolizing resistance to oppression and the power of anonymity. Okay, so Anonymous is driven by a range of motivations, right? Whether that's defending free speech, fighting censorship, and exposing government or corporate misconduct. Their methods have included distributed denial of service attacks, website defacements, and leaking of sensitive information, right? Some of the notable things or places that they hacked or attacked was the Church of Scientology, PayPal, and various government agencies, right? Now, that's who Anonymous is, and it's kind of like their origins. Now let's get in. Before we get into the story, let's break down a little bit of the context between Anonymous and the beef they have with Donald Trump. So let's look. The back in 2025, the most prominent Anonymous feud involving Donald Trump centers on Miles Taylor. I believe that was the former chief of staff of the Department of Homeland Security, who was authored basically the famous 2018 anonymous New York Times op-ed, "I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration." So Taylor, basically revealed his identity and became a vocal Trump critic. Now, it escalated as of this year, 2025. In April 2025, President Trump signed a memorandum ordering federal agencies to investigate Taylor, accusing him of treason and stripping him of his security clearance. So Trump's directive did not cite any specific crime, but rather targeted Taylor for his public dissent and criticism. So Taylor responded by filing formal, complaints with inspectors general at the Department of Justice and Homeland Security, alleging that Trump's actions were an unconstitutional abuse of executive power and a violation of First Amendment rights. So Taylor's legal team described the order as unprecedented, warning it set a dangerous precedent for using presidential power to retaliate against private citizens for political dissent. Now, Taylor has stated that Trump's actions, have severely disrupted his personal and professional life, leading to blacklisting, threats, and harassment of his family. So he has publicly argued that the episode is a test of American democratic institutions' ability to resist political retribution and uphold constitutional protections. Now, here's where the context gets even wilder. So Trump's 2025 actions against Taylor were part of a broader campaign of retribution against critics from his first administration, including other officials like Chris Krebs, I believe, who was also targeted for affirming the integrity of the 2020 election. Critics and legal experts have basically widely, condemned these moves as abuses of power and attempts to chill dissent within the outside government, right? While the hacking collective Anonymous declared cyber war on Trump in 2016, there's no evidence in 2025 of renewed activity or a feud between Trump and the group, supposedly. The 2025 feud is specifically about the Anonymous, author, the Miles Taylor, not the hacking group, okay? So let's get into the story, right? So Anonymous has accused former President Donald Trump of misleading the public about a recent ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel. So the video, titled Anonymous exposes Trump's false peace deal. You are being deceived alleges that the peace agreement announced by Trump was not genuine and that the public was being misled about the nature and effectiveness of the deal. Now, here's some context, right? Trump announced the ceasefire shortly after Iran launched a retaliatory strike against the U.S. airbase in Qatar, following U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. So Trump claimed that the ceasefire would bring an indefinite halt to hostilities, but this was quickly challenged by renewed violence and conflicting reports from both sides. So Israel accused Iran of violating the ceasefire while Iran denied the breach. Now, the U.S. intelligence assessments, some of which were reportedly leaked by anonymous resources, cast doubt on the effectiveness of the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. So these basically assessments suggested that the strikes did not destroy the core components of Iran's nuclear program and only set it back by a few months. Trump, however, publicly insisted that the sites were demolished and utterly destroyed, statements that have not been substantiated by independent analysis or military officials. Okay, so pattern of exaggerated claims. Fact checkers have documented a pattern of Trump making basically reportedly exaggerated or false claims about peace and conflict resolution. As an example, previously, he claimed there was a peace all over the world when he left office in 2021, despite numerous ongoing conflicts at the time. Now, the credibility of the claim that Donald Trump's recent peace deal was false and exposed by anonymous sources basically is supported by these factors. Anonymous is basically saying documented pattern of false, or misleading statements, right? So Trump has a long, well-documented history of making exaggerated, misleading, or basically Anonymous says outright false claims, especially regarding peace deals and foreign policy achievements. So, Anonymous says fact checkers and major news organizations have repeatedly debunked his statements, noting that deception and, revisionism are central to his political communication style. So, Anonymous has his sources. So, it seems like everybody has sources today, right? So, while anonymous sources can sometimes be unreliable in many high-profile cases, including those involving Trump, anonymous leaks have later been corroborated by official records or independent investigations. However, Trump and his allies often publicly dispute such reports, claiming they are politically motivated or fabricated regardless of their accuracy. Lack of evidence is what he's saying as well. Anonymous, he or she, we don't know, it's a group, right? Trump has, he's saying Trump has frequently made, Trump has frequently made claims about peace deals or foreign policy successes without providing verifiable evidence, making it difficult to assess their validity. So Anonymous says that this pattern has led to skepticism about the authenticity of his announcements, especially when contradicted by independent assessments or subsequent events. Now, multiple independent fact-checking organizations have constantly found that Trump, what did you do to Anonymous? He's saying, Trump's statements about peace initiatives and international agreements often do not match the facts on the ground or the assessments of experts and officials. I want to know what Anonymous, can we all just hug? Can't we all just hug? Anonymous, Donald Trump, y'all just hug. Y'all hug. Anonymous, stop hacking, all right? Just hug. That's what I have for you today. Please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and the like button. If you like this video and you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I appreciate your viewership. Stay safe. See you on the next video.